Is it a pride to be a teacher?
Oh yes, more than a pride, it is a passion to be a teacher. All that we need is better treatment. It is with love we build a nation. All that we need is better treatment. Ooh.
A teacher is a nation builder who spends sleepless nights preparing his lesson. Transformation of education begins with the teacher. He does everything to meet up with changing times. They build doctors, pilots, engineers, and all great people. Oh no, with meager salary. We plead on the parents to stop negative intervention. Instead, assist them do their work. It is with love.
It is with love.
It is with love.
We build a nation. All that we need is better treatment.
It is with love.
It is with love.
Yeah.
We build a nation. All that we need is better treatment.
I'm shedding my tears for a teacher.
I'm giving you knowledge, you slap me. I'm building your future, you kill me. Oh no, respect the teacher.
I'm shedding my tears as a teacher.
I'm giving you knowledge, you slap me. I'm building your future, you kill me. Oh why? Respect the teacher.
Teacher, we tapsila.
Teacher, will one we.
Teacher,
Teacher, we tapsila.
Fawarkai.
Teacher, will lonely. Teacher, we tapsila. Teacher, will one we.
Kimba teacher.
Teacher, we tapsila.
Kimfana.
Teacher, will lonely.
Kimfana.
Teacher, we tapsila. Teacher, will one we. Teacher, we tapsila. Teacher, will lonely.
Do you believe? Do you believe?
Yes, I believe. Mighty Father, on the Son, the Holy Spirit. Yes, I believe. Yes, I believe. Mighty Father, on the Son, the Holy Spirit. Yes, I believe. Mighty Father, I believe.
Do you believe?
Yes, I believe. You created heaven and earth. Yes, I believe. I will sing.
I want to make an address for 1 minute. There is one man called Mahdi Usman, who spoke a few days ago and tried to speak lies against the Southern Church and against the Southerners, that we Northerners that are Christians will come to the South and will find it difficult to get a land to worship God. And I want to say to you, Mahdi Usman, you're a liar. That is not true. I am a Northerner and I am preaching here in the South.
Thank you so much. Well, you and Yakubu Dogara definitely see eye to eye regarding this Muslim ticket, and he has said that Christians should not waste their votes in 2023 by voting for that Muslim ticket. I'm wondering if for the Christians who might actually be leaning towards the APC, do you think it will be a waste of their votes as Dogara interpreted?
we've discussed it. It's not Dogara and I alone that are involved in this. Indeed, we are leaders of a group of about 40 leading Christian politicians in the north. We started work on this years back when we suspected there were a Muslim from the south to emerge as the candidate for any of the political parties. The risk of what is happening, what has happened will happen. Now, there are two issues here. First and foremost, we are politicians. And the job of a politician is to win election and form government. Now, second, when we look at this ticket as designed principally to exclude northern Christians from governance, it will not be wise for us to therefore go ahead and hang ourselves and exclude ourselves from the incoming government. It's always been when it is time for election like this, they come to us as, oh, we are northerners, we should vote together, we should vote for our brothers. And foolishly, we cast our votes along with our northern brothers. And what happens? When the dining starts, they shove us out and we see them through the window eating buffet on the dining table. And this is what has informed some of this, our position that this time around, we are not going to go along with anybody that does not understand that we have a right to enjoy the perks of democracy. We are not going to go along with anybody, be him Fulani man, Hausa man, Kilba, Basaye, Igbo, Yoruba, that doesn't understand that there's a distinct entity of people that are called Northern Christians, or in another sense, smaller tribes in the north. So we are no more going to be, we will not allow ourselves to be deceived into saying, hey, Northerners, we are Northerners, let's vote together. Then when we are through, they push us into the dustbin. We are not ready for it. We are not ready for it. We thank God that we realize that we've woken up to this reality, and our people have seen it, and they are mobilized to do it. I just released one statistic in one of my speeches in which I said there are about 28 federal universities in the north, including military and other non-civilian institutions. Of those 28, there are only 5 vice chancellors that are of Christian origin. The polytechnics are almost the same statistics. Colleges of education, almost the same. Everywhere you go is Professor Alhaji this, is Muhammad Abubakar this. There's nowhere you see John Jato or something like that. If you go to the medical schools, it's all the same thing. To the extent that we Northern Christians are finding it very difficult to get admission into universities to read good courses. Only those of us that are city dwellers and God has blessed with some resources are able to send our children now to medical schools, private medical schools. So why is the Northernness? If a Christian can never in his wildest imagination expect to be a vice chancellor of Usman Dan Fodio University, or Bayero University, or University of Maiduguri, or University of Abuja, or Tafawa Balewa University, or University of Ilorin. No, we are not. No northern Christian, no matter his qualifications, will ever, in his wildest imagination, expect to head these institutions. But where are we? So no more northernness in this matter. Let them put it on the ground, let us see. The dog says that if they told the dog that there was a party in this house yesterday, I say he has not seen it because there was no bone on the ground. Let's see the bone. Then we know where we are.
And I want to say that it's time up for the lies that some of you have been lying for all these years, 62 years. The end of your lie has come. You northern Christians and northern Muslims will prove to these wicked men and women that your time is up. And 2023, we are all going to vote for Peter Obi. I want every one of you to know that nothing can ever threaten my stand I am not for you. I am for God and for the Nigerian people. Muslims here in the south are having their mosques. Nobody
Let's say
has.
sell the boat for 10,000 naira. Divide it by 365 days in a year. That should be around 28 naira. Now further divide it by 4 years. That's approximately 7 naira. Imagine selling the future at a rate of 7 naira per day. Vote wisely.
What are we here for? Now listen. Listen. Some people have made sacrifice with your blood, the blood of your relations. They have stolen your resources. But now we are saying we are taking back our inheritance. We are taking back our inheritance. Now listen. How many of you are ready to stay under the sun to recover your place? Okay, let me ask you. People have asked me this question. Why, as a preacher, what should I be doing on the campaign ground? What should I be doing on the campaign ground? But listen, I am here because the gospel of light must dispel darkness. So, we want freedom, and I want you to shout it, freedom!
What is happening in Africa? Nigeria is the most crucial place whereby tourists can go in there. Schools closed down. I see no reason why the brother and sister that live in the country for greener pastures. But when they get to the greener pastures, they look over, they think over. They see the differences, comparison of wherever they are in a place like home. So if we believe that we can fight and get back our country, we target first war against corruption and the higher killers.
In health system, Mr. Peter Obi administration built from scratch Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu Teaching Hospital with 25 building structures. His government funded transformation of massive infrastructural development, accreditation of 12 health institutions, 2 hospitals, also built 10 maternal and child care centers across the state. He is the first governor to purchase medical equipment of about 135 million and 50 live ambulance to our hospitals which are still functioning till date. He built and equipped Joseph Mwilo Heart Center in St. Joseph Adazi-Nnukwu, where heart operations are performed. Anambra State was the first state in Nigeria to distribute more than 30,000 computers, 22,500 HP to secondary schools. Mr. Peter Obi distributed about 700 school buses to secondary schools in Anambra State and built 200 primary school blocks. Donation of 300 million and 444 million naira to Anglican and Roman Catholic churches to rehabilitate their school. During his tenure, he gave 1 million each to more than 160 first-class graduates in Nigerian university to promote reading culture in the state. He erected and adequately equipped, was recognized as the best governor by the Millennium Development Goal in the implementation of their programs in Nigeria. Mr. Peter Obi constructed 2 bridges across the popular Agro Lake in Anocha local government area of Anambra State, a project cost of 2 billion naira. He funded Agro Lake Hotel Project Golden Tulip, reconstruction of Opiway Ahead Bridge axis of Enugu-Onitsha Expressway to 6 lanes. Mr. Peter Obi constructed 800 kilometers of road network between rural and urban area. Some of the roads include Ibariami Internal Roads, Ekulobia Ezinifite Road, Niger Drive GRA Road Onitsha, Iftedun Road. He constructed Zik Avenue and Mkpo Flyover, 30 verifiable bridges, Ezu Ebenebe Bridge, Oka North, Isuanocha Bridge, Okwaka River Bridge, commissioned the longest bridge, Odo River, in Orumba North. Best practice in waste disposal because he provided over 300 billion worth of waste evacuation trucks and receptacles. Nigerian Debt Management Office rated Anambra as the least indebted state in Nigeria. Mr. Peter Obi bequeathed 75 billion naira to his successor. With these projects and many more I couldn't cover in this short video, the credibility and competency of Mr. Peter Obi is undisputable.
You don't need to be lectured on this. Just watch Bola Tinubu on the stage or anywhere. Tremor on the hands. Instability on the legs. The whole body is shaking. Look at the back of his agbada misturating. Wait. Can I continue? Give me your silence, please. If he walks 10-15 meters, what do you see? Palpitation. To sit down is a problem. To stand is a problem. To prostrate for prayers is a problem. That is to tell you that he is not physically and mentally healthy. We have seen the danger of electing unhealthy presidents in Nigeria.
It has never happened. Let me give you this rundown. As I'm talking to you now, over 16 permanent secretaries who had served their legitimate 35 years in service, who had retired and have collected their pension and are collecting their gratuity, have suddenly been brought back into public service as permanent secretaries, thus collecting a monthly salary, collecting their gratuity every month, collecting their pension every month, having paid their gratuity long ago. Why are they back? It is because they have been participants in the past looting, and being out of the system will not be safe for the current manager of the Nigerian economy, of the capitalist economy. Secondly, they are also back because they have the permanence, they have the secretary to the government and the governor as people who are either their blood relations, or their personal friends, or they are own partners in crime. Therefore, keeping them longer outside the system of government will not be safe for them and will be giving the governor and the SSG sleepless nights. Number two, where you have a cashier, there is a cashier called Masaudu. He was a cashier in the government house for 6 years. During his reign as the cashier, he was the closest person to the SSG. And by the last count, they have withdrawn in cash within the period of 5 years over 40 billion naira, with Masaudi's name appearing at every cash collection in tranches of 10 million over the last 5 years. Therefore, keeping Masaudu at a distance will not be safe. Therefore, what they did is now they transferred Masaudu back to another department in the governor's house, in the governor's office, under the power generation project. He was at the local government ministry as a cashier, and you could see what he did. Within a day, he will go to the bank 25 times. Access Bank has a branch in Katsina, has a branch in Daura, has a branch in Malumfashi, has a branch in Funtua. Now, in a kind of unbelievable behind the scene power, you will see in bank statement the same cashier Masaudu have visited Malumfashi with 20 checks of 10 million naira, let's say on 1st January, and he has cashed them. In the same day, he has been to Daura with 32 checks of 10 million naira, cashed them. In the same day, he was in Katsina Central with 28 checks of 10 million naira, cashed them. And in one British in Malifashi, all on the same bank statements, such that in one day, he will collect 1 billion naira cash. In a total of 1 month, he will collect over 6 billion naira cash. Recently in a bank, in Access Bank, I have the account, I have the details, I have everything. In between just one account, Kaduna State government has 43 bank accounts. In just one account, in 5 years, Masaudu Aliyu collected 11 billion 498 million in cash. One begin to wonder, where is EFCC? Where is NFIU? Where is the Central Bank? Where is NDIC? Where are all other financial regulating organizations when this nonsense is happening? The tragedy in Kaduna is being orchestrated and is being supported by all banks that have Kaduna State government account in their banks. They are complicit. They are conniving with government officials to steal people's money for selfish and irresponsible reasons. I will go further again. You have somebody who is just on level 10. Just last week, there were appointments. And incidentally, of the appointment of permanent secretaries, 4 of them are officers below the level 12. But they were upgraded against all clarion calls. Now they are permanent secretaries in court. What will happen to the psychology of their colleagues? What will happen to the psychology of their seniors? What will happen to the psychology of the entire public servants? It is the same system where in the last 9 years, there are people who are called casuals. It is against the level in Nigeria. There are people who are still earning 5,000 naira in Kaduna under the nonsense casual payroll. I can continue ad infinitum. All is not well in Kaduna. Kaduna is under siege.
Oh, well, very serious allegations, I must say, there, Malam Shehu.
So now for just one state, now one man withdraw, we know first. You know what they happen around the country. When I say these people now, Luther continue, Victoria accept how.
All right, let's make yet another analysis. Are you aware that the Dangote refinery has about 650,000 barrels per day refining capacity?
Okay.
And the estimated cost to build that refinery is about $15 billion.
Continue.
And the Pacific refinery in Ecuador has about 500,000 barrels per day capacity, and it was built for $12 billion.
Okay.
Kuwait is also building the Al Zour refinery for $16 billion, and the refining capacity of that one is about 615,000 barrels per day.
Continue.
Now, Nigeria produces an average of about 1.2 million barrels of crude oil per day. 1.2 million barrels. That means with just 2 refineries with the average refining capacity of the ones mentioned above, Nigeria does not have any business importing fuel. Now the federal government is proposing 6.7 trillion naira on fuel subsidy in 2023. That is what they have proposed in the 2023 budget. 6.7 trillion naira is equal to $15.6 billion. Now, the one where they bust my brain now is the federal government is planning to borrow 11 trillion naira to support the expenses for 2023 budget. 11 trillion naira. All right. Now, from the calculations above, 11 trillion naira can build 2 good refineries in Nigeria from start to finish. See, this country cannot change unless something drastically changes about our leadership.
And met this gentleman, a professor. This gentleman told him that he knew why we were out. We wanted to get support and sympathy for Nigeria and to explain the federal force to the international community. And he explained that the international community was not particularly interested in Nigeria as such. All that people were interested in were our resources. And he even went further to say, if we could get a robot to exploit your resources for us to develop our economies, we wouldn't mind the whole lot of you being eliminated. But, he said, in the case of Nigeria, there is a difference. And the difference is that Nigerians are very hard-working and very intelligent. And they have got resources, most of which they know nothing about. If this country, Nigeria, with all these resources, both human and material, was to have an uninterrupted period of 20 years of peace and stability, it would be another Japan. Because these intelligent, hard-working Nigerians would come to know about their resources, they would use their intelligence and work hard and exploit those resources and develop their economy. A developing economy needs a market, he said. In our own case, we have no problem with the market. Our population is large enough to provide the market that we need. And even without that, the Nigerian market is the entire West African region and beyond. So you will have no problem with the market. Therefore, if you are given an uninterrupted period of 20 years of peace and stability, you will become another Japan, you will threaten our economy, you will be a thorn in our flesh. That was the view of this professor in 1967. And he therefore ended by saying that even after the Civil War, we will not allow you to rest. We will create one problem after another for you. Knowing this, therefore, I feel that in spite of our shortcomings, which I must admit we have, there is a kind of orchestrated campaign against Nigeria so that it may not emerge the economic giant that it is destined.
A young man who left the shores of Ghana in the latter part of the 1800s. His name was Tete Kwashi. He traveled to a small place called Fernando Po in Equatorial Guinea now. He worked as a plantation farmer, almost a slave. He was not a middle-level worker. He was not a high-level worker. He was just a worker. But when he left Fernando Po, he brought with him a few cocoa pods. Incidentally, he came from Teshi. But he went to the mountains, the Abri Mountains, went to Kropong, eventually settled in Mampong, planted his first seeds from the cocoa that he brought. He didn't have much success. Very early, by 1879, he planted the first seeds in Mampong. By 1891, that is between 1879 and 1891, that's about 12 years, Ghana exported its first cocoa. 12 years after the first man planted the first seed, we exported the first cocoa. Can you imagine how many bags we exported? 2 bags. But by 1910, from 1879 to 1910, that is just about 31 years, is that right? 31 years. Ghana had become the leading producer of cocoa. Between 1910 and 1980, Ghana was the world's largest exporter of cocoa. When God blesses you, it has generational consequences in the same way if He curses you. If we are going to take charge of the future, we have to be generational thinkers. That means that for everything you do, you have to think of the person who is coming after you. And make sure the person coming after you will not be worse off, but will be better than you are. In very, very little things that we do. We must build capacity for the future. And we must power the next generation.
So help us God. Amen. Allahu Akbar.
You cannot stand and wait until it collapses. Those children who are supposed to be in university are not in school for 7 months are children of the church. And nobody cares about them. Those people who will keep quiet and they're stealing our oil are those that are elected. Every day you hear people are stealing oil. Oil is being stolen by people in government. Nobody, oil is not sweet you put in your pocket. For you to steal oil, a ship has to come to your territorial waters. And that must be approved by Navy. So it's not you. None of you can steal oil. Nobody here can steal oil. Your Grace, you can't steal oil. Because you have to have a ship. Every ship is registered and everybody knows where the ship is going. And you have to have approval. So the only people who can steal oil are people in power. This agreement that is keeping our school closed, Your Grace, was signed in 2009. And if the content, monetary content of it is about 1.2, 1.3 trillion, out of which Jonathan paid 200. The rest is spent. Just to show you why used oil, in 1 month, the money of oil they stole can pay for this. Our approval to oil is 1.8 million barrels. Nigeria's approval. But about OPEC, we are the only people. In July 2022, throughout the month of July, our production was 1,083,000. So every day we're losing 717,000. If you multiply by 31 days, it's 22,227,000. That's what we lost. If you multiply by how much they sold oil in that month, average of 110, is $2,445,000,000. If you use the average rate of 550 to multiply it, is 1,344,750,000,000 naira. That is far more than ASU is asking 1 month stealing. We can no longer continue this way. If we continue, you consume everybody. I spoke to European Union this morning, all the ambassadors, and I asked them, stop giving us aid. We don't need aid. We need leadership. Help us to get leaders who can serve this country. We do not require their aid. And I asked them a question. Please, I'm begging you, next year election should not be based on ethnicity, or religion, on connection, or my tongue, or any form of bias. We don't need it. And let anybody who said he wants to be, anybody who says he wants to serve, please let him not speak to you through spokesperson. Let him come and tell you what he's going to do. You take note of it. Because when he goes into office, he'll start telling you what I saw when I got in, or what I didn't see. All of us should see what is bad now. So when we hire the person, the job of a leader is to find solution, to prefer solution, and not to give us a excuse. We We are tired of excuses. Anything any of us wants to see, let him see it now. So when he goes, it is solving the solution. And after election, please do not go away. Part of our problem is that after election, you go away and His Excellency reverses the vehicle, which you all agreed is going north to south. And nobody is telling him, no, this is not what we agreed. I'm sure we'll have time one day to discuss this further. Next year's election must be based on character we can trust with proven record of the past. It must be by competence. It must be by capacity and commitment. This is a job that requires physical and mental energy. And we must get it right. And that is what we're asking. The church must be at the forefront. Our children cannot continue like this. There's no offense they committed by being Nigerians. Nigerians are the best you can get in the world. And we have the energy to change this world. All we lack is that we have criminals who have hijacked this country, sealed everything away, and we are keeping quiet. Please, the church, wake up, take back